Summer's over, days are shorter, it's raining, we're all back to work, but there is one light, Tyler, one hope that brightens these gloomy September days. The Silksong is real. Hollow Knight Silksong just released yesterday at the time of recording. I have been playing it, and I wanted to annoy Tyler with my thoughts on the game real quick. Tyler, have you ever heard of the indie darling Hollow Knight?
I very vaguely I've heard of it. I've seen that poster image from the first game, on the Xbox store, or whenever I've been scrolling through or whatever. And I just actually saw that the new one is on Game Pass as well.
From Game Pass. Yeah.
So you know what? If you sell me on it, Tommy, then I'll be downloading it, and maybe I'll give it a play.
I will try to do it justice, but before we go into my thoughts on the game itself, which I've only played for a few hours, it just came out. I just wanted to tell you about the history of this game because I think it's really funny and interesting and cool. So Hollow Knight, fun little game that came out in 2017. I have played it a couple years after that, can't remember exactly when, but it already had all the expansions and DLCs, which massively expanded the game, and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite games. In general, it's a little miracle of a game. It was developed by Team Cherry, which is like 3 people, small indie studio from Adelaide, Australia. It has a massive world to explore with very cool lore and a story that you kind of have to piece together for yourself by exploring, talking to NPCs, finding things. It has amazing music, great imagination. It's just a joy to experience. And you start off in this very gloomy area. It's dark and confusing and you don't know where you're going. But then you slowly uncover this enormous world, all these different areas with different vibes and enemies. So it's a good time. No pressure, but it's a good time. It also has incredibly hype boss fights, that has become kind of iconic in the game and in the gaming space. It's a demanding game. Some bosses are the classic "this is impossible" kind of scenario, and then you slowly grind and learn the moveset and you kill them on your 50th try and you feel like a fucking god. People have compared it to Dark Souls. They say it's like 2D Souls game.
Okay.
And it does have similar mechanics, that you die, you leave a specter behind that you need to go back to if you want to retrieve the money you collected
cool.
up until that point. But yeah, it's a bit of that. It's a bit of Metroid with the upgrades that unlock new paths. It's a Metroidvania. That's literally the name of the type of game that this is. So Hollow Knight, pretty popular game. I think the most popular indie game of all time. Don't know if it still holds that title,
Really?
but at some point it did. Massive fan base for the kind of title that it is. Many of these people have been following the game since its Kickstarter days, because yes, this game started off as a Kickstarter project, and there were a bunch of goals right on the Kickstarter page. If we get this amount of money, we'll put this thing in the game, this new area, this new boss or item. And that's what those DLCs that I mentioned were. They kept working on the game after releasing it, improving it and tweaking the difficulty of certain encounters and stuff like that. And one of the goals on the Kickstarter was a second playable character. And this character was Hornet, who's a character in the game you come across a few times and you fight and has a major role in the story. At some point, Team Cherry said, okay, we were making the DLC, but the scope of the expansion kind of got away from us, so it's gonna be its own separate game. Get excited for Hollow Knight Silksong, the official sequel to Hollow Knight. And people lost their minds. And then there was a reveal trailer and a little demo at a Nintendo Switch event, and people lost their minds even more. This was 2019. We are now in the year 2025. So you can imagine something went terribly wrong during that time, because the game just came out yesterday. What happened in between these 2 points in time is pure insanity. I'm talking Half-Life 3, GTA 6, The Last of Us Part 2 levels of anticipation and cope. At first, the studio was giving very regular updates on the state of the game, sharing concept art, character names, and roles in the story. And then at some point, they just stopped. They disappeared. There was this funny thing where the last thing posted on their website for years was a little holiday card, like they were signing off for the holidays and wishing everyone Merry Christmas, and then they never posted again. So nothing. People started asking questions. It was like that John Travolta meme, millions of people across the world looking around and be with befuddled expressions. The community went on this collective hunt for clues that honestly was a delight to watch. This stuff just was so entertaining because people were looking at tweets from people connected to Team Cherry in some way, and they were trying to read into those tweets hidden hints about the release date of the game. But for real, all we had was that first reveal trailer and Team Cherry's word that they were working on it. Then there was this other event, I think it was like an Xbox event, where they showed a bunch of games and then said that all the games featured in the presentation would release within a year of that presentation. And Silksong was part of this presentation. So people were like, okay, of course, the game will be released soon. Okay, it's amazing. And then like 3 more years passed and people were just slowly losing their minds over this fucking game never coming out. And also the silence from the studio, because that's a weird thing, like maybe you just put out a tweet and be like, hey guys, we know you're waiting for this, but just hang in there for a little longer. We're working on it. But they never said anything. And I think now, looking back, I feel like this was an intentional move to make people lose their minds. So the game was highly anticipated, to say the least. But this year, we had Silksong at a few events. People were getting hopeful. It was shown for like 2 seconds during a Switch 2 event. And then again at another thing like a month ago, with the promise that the game would release before the holiday season. So people started speculating, okay, if we look at how stars will align on this day, we can deduce that the game will be released
Yeah.
on this day. They were saying, early December. No, late November. No, guys, it's not coming out. They're making fun of us. The game is not real. And then 2 weeks ago, final trailer with a release date of September 4. And people lost their minds again. And one last funny thing, yesterday I was working from home. I booted up my PlayStation to download the game so I could play it once I finished work. And I couldn't for like 2 hours. Because the PlayStation Store, the Nintendo Store, and Steam all went down due to the amount of people trying to download the game at the same time.
Wow, yeah.
So the servers decided to do the funniest thing ever and delay the game one last time.
Oh my god. I just saw on Steam it had over 500,000 concurrent players at one time, which has only ever been topped once apparently, by a game called Goose Duck. So,
I mean, that sounds about right. This, crazy numbers, crazy stuff. And in the end, the fans who have been waiting so long for this game have been rewarded. The game was released everywhere on the same day, no early access, no paid DLC bullshit like the big studios love to do now. It's just a good game made by passionate people, sold for 20 euros.
And obviously on you've only played it for a few hours so far, but does it live up to the hype?
I mean, nothing can live up to the hype that people had for this game. The hype that I had for the game, it was that I just wanted more Hollow Knight because I liked Hollow Knight. And this is exactly that. It's more Hollow Knight. It's a bit more refined. The art is just as gorgeous, probably more gorgeous. The music is fantastic. It's a great atmosphere. All the little characters you come across are so full of personality and charm. I mean, it's a great time. I'm still very early on, so, I can't tell if I'm gonna like this more than the first game, and maybe I won't just because the first game I played it, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe, so, also nostalgia plays a part in this in a way. But I'm looking forward to playing it in the coming months, getting my ass beat by some impossible boss, finally defeating them after smashing my head against the wall out of desperation, and then do that all over again for like 50 times until the game is over. So if this pitch worked for you, let me know. I'll be happy that one more person downloaded this game, especially because it's free on Game Pass. So
yeah, definitely. I'll definitely give it a try. It's kind of reminded me a little bit of is it have you ever played Castle Crashers?
No, I haven't.
No, it's kind of reminded me a little bit of that, especially like the art style. But that was a very fun game, kind of similar to this, where you just boss battles at the end of each level.
Oh, it's the guy who made Alien Hominid?
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I recognize the art style. That looks really fun.
But that one's like a 4-player co-op, and you go leveling up the players. But yeah, this looks cool. It looks very interesting.
No, this is a single player, very involved kind of experience. You explore the world, you find tools, you unlock areas, you fight bosses, and you uncover a story that it's promising to be really interesting. So yeah, I'm really excited. Everyone is really excited. I'm happy that people who waited so long can finally play this, and myself included. So yeah, good time to be a gamer. We have a bunch of cool stuff coming out now and in the next few months.
Just shows you the worth of Game Pass again. It's definitely one of the best deals in gaming.
Yeah.
It keep consistently gets new and good upcoming releases on there, and yeah, it is the reason why I switched back from a PlayStation to an Xbox.
Yeah. As a Sony guy, I cannot agree more. Game Pass is just an incredible deal for the consumer. So many good games, and Silksong, such a highly anticipated game to be released on Game Pass like that. It just goes to show that the huge value that this thing has. Expedition 33, which is another Game of the Year contender, was also released on Game Pass. I mean, I don't play that many games throughout a year, so I'm happy, especially for a game that costs $20.
Yeah,
I'm happy to pay them.
Well, yeah, check it out if you're interested. But yeah, I think you might have sold me on it there, Tommy. I might have to give it a go.
Do it and join the cult, the other cult, the Hollow Knight cult. The next time I see you, I'm sure you will be deep into a 2-hour lore video about the story of the of the Hollow Knight, and we can all chat about that.
Nice.